I love to see the towns passing by and to ride these rails neath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause that's the life I believe He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, say God called home your rambling man.
Welcome to Ramblin' Man Podcast, episode number 64. This one is with Jonathan Courageous Clark, and we talk about spoken word and theater. It's great talk. We'd love to have him back on to talk a little bit more. If you'd like to know more about Jonathan, probably the best way to find out is through the Carpetbag Theater, of which Jonathan is the executive and artistic director. You can find them online at carpetbagtheater.org, carpetbagtheatre.org, and you can reach out to Jonathan there. Our sponsor this week is Feral Giant, based in Knoxville, Tennessee, but they do work for people all over. If it's creative or digital, they've got you covered. You can find out more information about them at feralgiant.com or on any of the social at Feral Giant. Without much further ado, here's the episode. The stock joke is that I always start by talking about Game of Thrones, even though I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. Because that happened 4 episodes in a row. And the one with Jasmine started like that. And I was just like, we talked for 5 minutes. And I was like, I've never seen this show. Y'all can talk amongst yourselves because I have no idea. And we're rolling. That's how it goes. Are you originally from here?
Yep. Born and raised in Knoxville.
Okay.
I was born at, which hospital? It no longer exists?
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. I was born at St. Mary's Hospital.
Oh, my God. I think I was at UT. I still don't know why UT, because St. Mary's was literally 5 minutes from the house. But
I
for
don't
some
know what
reason,
it is. My sister was born at UT.
Yeah. And it wasn't even the mega hospital it is now. But I don't know. I would much rather been born at St. Mary's. Now that it's it's abandoned.
Rest in peace, St. Mary's.
It and Easttown Mall. I mean, what is next?
I've got so many ideas for that mall.
So, I mean, no offense to this person, but do you know Art Carmichael?
I've heard the name, but I don't think I could put
I'm
a
not
face
going to
with
make
it.
fun of him, but he posted a video. Somebody did a Easttown Mall game over video, and it was like 26 minutes long of just somebody walking through the mall. And I was like, I don't need 26 minutes of this. I've walked through that mall enough. I don't need. I know every.
It doesn't
inch
even take 26 minutes.
I was like, I know every inch of that mall. I was like, are you kidding me? It's like, this is where I kept trying to buy an Ice Cube CD or tape. No, tape, and they would not let me because it had parental advisory, and I was like 14.
Oh man!
And I was like, what the fuck? I just should have just started rattling off cuss words, but they're like, let me see some ID. I was like, okay, never mind.
That's so stupid.
Let me go back when somebody else is.
Come see my class and see how we talk to each other when we're 14 years old.
Also, at 14, I was 6'2", 230. I was like, come on, man.
Oh, I left it in my car.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm buying
okay.
cigarettes for kids at school. And you won't sell me an Ice Cube's tape. Yeah, there used to be 3 CD stores at the mall.
Mm-hmm. There was FYE.
Oh, this was even before. I'm thinking about when I must be much older, because there's one underneath right by the stairs. That's the one that wouldn't sell me the CD. There was one upstairs. That was the expensive one.
Mm-hmm.
That was by that weird main entrance upstairs next to where Gold's Gym and all that was.
Oh, wow.
Where Service Merchandise used to be.
Man, do you remember Service Merchandise? I used to go into Service Merchandise all the time.
They had that weird, like when you walked in from the mall, they had that weird area with like all the electronics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was its own store, and then you walk back, and then there was an area with like a conveyor belt. I remember that.
I remember the conveyor belt.
That was such a weird.
I used to love service merchandise.
Yeah.
I used to beg my parents to go there as a kid. It was so weird, but I just loved.
Because I don't think they
I was
had any
just a consumer.
clothes.
Nope. It was all stuff.
Yeah.
Just full of stuff. Like
Yeah.
all the stuff you see in catalogs and
Yeah.
magazines and stuff.
Whereas you walk in JCPenney, it's like perfume and women's dresses. It's like, I don't want any of this.
Oh.
It's like, let me go down there and service merchandise. Oh, yeah. I remember service merchandise. And then the big mega record store that I think is where FYE ended up being. And I can't remember where that was at. Or I can't remember what it was called back then.
I don't remember either.
It was the big one. And it was funny because one of the women that worked there ended up going to work at Disc Exchange. And I saw her at Disc Exchange like a year later. I was like, wait, no, you work at the mall. I don't understand.
You're not in the place where you're supposed to be.
What the hell? Yeah, the mall. I don't know.
There's so many. So I travel a lot.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of friends in Jackson, Mississippi, and they took this old abandoned mall, and they got grants. I can't remember what foundation it was from.
Yeah.
But once the mall had shut down, basically what's happening right here.
Yeah.
They took these grants and they took ideas from everybody.
Yeah.
And they decided to make it a mall of they called it a medical mall.
Okay.
So inside that place, there is like the doctor's offices, and there's 4 or 5 doctor's offices.
Yeah.
There's a chiropractor. There's a dentist. There's 2 or 3 dentist offices. There's
Eyeglasses,
all of the
probably.
glasses,
Yeah.
all the things that people need. And then in addition to that, they give space for there's a lady who makes it's almost like she's a Jamaican lady, but it's like tropical smoothie cafe on what they wish they could be.
Oh, man.
She makes her own her
That's
own
crazy.
jerk seasoning
Yeah.
for jerk chicken wraps. She
Yeah.
makes these smoothies that are just fantastic. And she just got a little stand in the middle of it. She plays Jamaican music. She plays reggae the whole afternoon. So she comes in at 10 o'clock all the way until 3 o'clock, and she's an entrepreneur. She set up her own business. She did it inside. There's
crazy.
an artist space. There's an there's a place, just a gallery where you can view art.
Yeah.
There's a performance space right in the middle, so
Yeah.
people can have concerts and all this kind of stuff in the middle. But they've just set it up to be a place, and then they use their bus system to work through it. So
Yeah.
now not only is it a bus transit system, but all the people who need to use public transportation to
Yeah.
get where they're going can go to that place
Yeah.
on their regular bus route and go get their medical supplies and
amazing.
pharmacy and all that kind of stuff. And the mall just basically revitalized itself.
Yeah.
So there's still places to shop in it.
I think everybody's been talking about what one thing can it be? It's like it doesn't need to be one thing.
It's not what a mall is,
No.
first of all, people.
So one of the things I thought about earlier, I think so some of the good ideas I've heard is, the Maker City and all that. I was like, why don't you make it to where if somebody wants to build a wood shop, you've got a store that can be converted into whatever
Yeah.
in the hell you want.
Yeah.
You can do artist galleries and
Yeah.
stuff, or a sales place where people who make stuff can sell out there. That can be one section. Another idea was the older folks home. I was like, you could take JCPenney or something and because it's so big and subdivide it,
yeah.
make a cafeteria and do whatever you need. But the one this morning I thought of, I was like, why in the hell do some of these, because we film so many shows around here, that should be a studio.
Oh, that's actually a decent idea.
Yeah, taking whatever that thing, where service merchandise used to be, where Gold Shims used to be, it was some kind of game thing that
Game of Thrones.
bring it back to Game of Thrones. But take that and turn that into to where you can build out, because you've got carpenters and stuff that can build. You can build out rooms to where you can use the same room over and over and over again.
For sure.
It almost feels like the county should just buy it and then let people take over sections, or kind of like what you're saying with the medical thing. It's going to make money. If you do it right and you let people do good things and are not trying to just chase the unholy buck, you could do something.
I wish it was something about okay, we can make $1. We don't have to make every dollar.
Yeah.
Let's just make a small profit.
Yeah.
And it's not like you don't have enough money already. If you got enough money to buy a damn mall, then you're you're okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you just don't need to make $40 billion. Maybe if you made $400 million. I don't know.
You can make a 10% profit. You don't have to make a 10,000% profit.
So let's do that with the pharmaceutical companies.
Oh God. There we go. Down another rabbit hole. Well, and something like these lunch and learns at the East Tennessee Historical Center, the Mighty Musical, Wurlitzer Mondays, all these things have built up these huge followings. It's like you could do something at lunchtime in like the common area in the middle to where you could get like Carpetbag to come out and say, we are if you don't know about us, here's who we are.
Here's what we do.
You can get Marvel City Opera to come up and do just like pop-up shows like once a month or every other Monday or something, and people show up, you buy food, and you get to watch this performance kind of down in the common area.
I'd love to be able to pull my kids out of school, our youth program.
Yeah.
Let's pull them out of school.
Summertime.
Let's go do stuff. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Summertime, you do all kid stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The Boys and Girls Club could put together, like, we're going to do a small show that's 20 minutes long and go out there. And they can help fundraise or something. There's a band out of North Carolina called the Steep Canyon Rangers.
Steep Canyon Rangers.
That they backed Steve Martin on his bluegrass albums.
Oh, I knew I'd heard that name before.
So they partnered with some charity, and they had this great idea. They were like, drop in the bucket. So some company developed this bucket to where you could drop your credit card in the bucket to donate like $5 or whatever. I think it was literally like one amount. So it wasn't like you could donate more. It was like $5. That's all we asked.
Yeah.
And you just do your credit card and it comes up and says approved. Huh. And I was like, that is brilliant.
That is really cool.
Yeah, where you're not having to fool with Square, you're not having to fool with anything.
Don't do anything.
You just drop in the bucket.
And I'm not charging you extra. It's $5.
It's $5. Whatever it is. I was like, that's a good idea.
If you just want to keep dropping your card, that's cool. You can donate $500. You just got to do it 100 times.
East Town, we could do that, and it's every month it goes to a different charity. I'm coming up. See, this is what I used to do with my buddy Jason, where we'd sit on his deck and smoke cigars and drink bourbon, and then we were like, now all we need is like $10 million to make this happen.
That sounds like my kind of night. That sounds like my kind of night.
$10 million. We came up with this great idea for the old Patrick Sullivan's to turn it into a wine and scotch bar on the first level there where you could smoke cigars. The second level was a VIP lounge you had to pay so much a year to be able to access it with big leather chairs, big TVs and all that. And we planned everything out, got for like 2 hours and got to end. I was like, all we need is like $4 million to make this happen. He was like, small thing.
I really would love to have like a good cigar and bourbon bar in Knoxville.
Yeah. And
you get them for like 14 minutes and then they go away.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. I feel like it's usually a bunch of old guys sitting around talking nonsense.
Well, I will say, so I love John Stansel, who was at Merchants of Beer. Mm-hmm. So he's the best. He had a rule in there, two rules: no politics, no religion. And there would people coming in from out of town, and they would start saying something. He's like, guys, we have one rule, or we have two rules in here: no politics, no religion. So let's just stop talking about that. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I want everybody to be friends when they leave here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, dude, you're a
genius.
Are
they still? I heard they were. No. Yeah, they're done.
They're done. Ah. They got kicked out to make Merchants of Beer more of a family-friendly thing.
Yeah.
It's like, family-friendly. Yeah. Alcohol.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Merchants of Beer.
Yeah, Merchants of Beer. Family-friendly.
All families drink beer together, especially the ones with young kids. That's how I was raised.
That did trip out. A buddy of mine came here from Vegas, and he was like, I want to go bar hopping. Show me where. I was like, okay. So we went to Crafty Bastard first, and he was like, there are children in here. I was like, yeah, it's like 6:30. People came here and got food from the food truck and are sitting and drink beer. He's like, this is weird. It's like, dude, you're from Vegas. This is not weird. This can't be even close to the weirdest thing you've ever seen.
That cannot. No. That's scary though.
Yeah.
For somebody to be like, I'm from Vegas. Yeah, and your town is weird. Like, okay.
But
thank you.
That was one beer in. That took him to Suttrie's, and we actually sat over at Harrogate's Lounge, and he drank 2 more beers and was pretty drunk at that point. Yep. He was like, this town's awesome. It's like,
I take people to Suttrie's all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want some good ramen?
Yeah.
And they're like,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, let's come down to this
Let's
little,
go to this
little
beer
diving
bar.
place right here. We're gonna go make this happen.
And then-
Honestly, though, they used to, the best Cuban sandwich I've ever had in my life
yeah.
came from the old menu
Really?
at Sutry's.
I don't even remember the Cuban sandwich.
It was the best thing I'd ever
Okay.
had in my life.
I
I literally went and hugged the guy who made it.
Oh my god! Was
Not
it
even
Bull? Was it the little guy?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember
Hugged
the
him.
barbecue. I didn't.
Oh man,
Yeah.
dude,
I don't think he has a truck anymore. I never see him anymore. Bull's barbecue.
it's been a long, long time. One of these days, I'm gonna make a food truck.
Oh my god! Do you already have an idea in mind what you want?
It'll just be like Southern comfort kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
regular food. Because I cook all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not not bragging or anything, but I think if I had like a certain recipe, I
Yeah.
could take on Bobby Flay and probably beat his ass.
Oh my god!
I just want you to know.
Nice.
I just love cooking.
I
My
was going to
dad's
say,
a chef.
I'm trying to think in my staple. I think cookies. I could destroy anybody. Like I make very good cookies.
Really?
To the point to where one of my friends' dad said, "This is the greatest cookie I've ever had," and that's beating your grandmother's
Oh,
cookies.
God.
I was like, "Oh God,
Don't
she's still
say that.
alive.
Do
She'll
not
kill
say
me,
that.
man. She'll kill me." And chili. I make really great chili.
I can make some really good chili.
Yeah.
I make turkey chili. I have a beef intolerance.
Oh.
I became a vegetarian. So I used to be about 100 pounds heavier than I am right now.
Wow. Yeah.
And I became a vegetarian for like a year.
Yeah.
And I dropped like 80 pounds.
Wow.
Just, I still haven't, I can't remember the last decade I worked out,
Wow.
but it was probably in the late 90s. I'm going to
Yeah.
be honest. So I run around all the time. I do stuff,
Yeah.
but I hit my activity meter on my Apple Watch every day. Like I do what I'm supposed to be doing, but I just don't go to the gym and do all those kind
Oh
of
my
things.
God.
But I dropped like 80 pounds and it turned into like 100 pounds just changing my lifestyle.
Wow.
But after that, I brought back fish and then I brought back chicken. So I was a pescatarian for like
Yeah.
4 minutes and then brought back chicken
Yeah.
and then pork really messed with me unless it was like
Huh.
really lean pork.
Okay.
And then I am no longer able to eat beef.
Wow. That's
I
wild.
will be there will be something coming out of every end that I have if I
Ugh,
eat anything with
ugh,
beef. Like I'm talking tears and everything. Like it's so bad.
It's like, why is earwax?
Why
popping?
is earwax coming out of my I feel like Shrek. It's like it's
my
one of the
God.
craziest things. And I would love like it's not
Oh,
that I don't
that chili I had would kill you because it's
Oh.
like beef, hot sausage, Benton's bacon, and then like habaneros, jalapenos, and
I love spicy stuff.
I will say I've started cooking with Bush's grilling beans, which are like smokehouse or a little sweet, and there's something about the heat, the meat. And the savory of the meat, and then the sweetness of that, it's just like, good God Almighty! Like it's so good, but it would destroy
meat
you.
is sweet.
Sorry,
It would.
Uh,
I would probably do it
Yeah.
but I would have a really rough
Yeah.
afternoon, evening, morning.
Oh my God! Take
So do
one
that.
spoonful and just be like, now get it the hell away from me.
That's all I can do.
Get
That's
it the
literally
hell-
all I could do.
Get it the hell away.
And I would probably pay for that really, really,
Oh my God!
really, really desperately.
Oh man! What got you into like? Because you do everything, like spoken word, poetry, rap. So what started you on that path?
So I was thinking about this. I just had an article in Knox TN today.
Okay.
So it's actually up today.
Nice.
So it's Our Town Leaders.
Nice.
But I was telling Larry, the gentleman who did the interview, I actually started when I was in middle school. The funny thing is, I started thinking about that, and I remember I used to be the flag kid for like this
Yep.
traveling performance thing that my elementary school had, Pleasant Ridge Elementary. Whoop,
Pleasant
whoop.
Ridge. Nice.
So we had this little traveling, like, patriotic show where we did a flag show to
wow.
God Bless the USA. What's the proud being
Lee Greenwood. I was
Yeah.
about to joke and say, was it God bless?
It sure was.
Oh my
It
God.
sure was.
Oh my God.
So we had this whole flag routine, and I was just out there living my best life, man. I was just out with the little flag and doing everything, and then
Oh my God.
I always did stuff. Like I was
Yeah.
always joking. I was always performing for whoever would listen. my parents tell me about like the stories I used to tell when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and they would just be like, "Can you please finish the story already?" Because it had to be a long, drawn out, like dramatic event for me to
God.
tell a story about something that I would have been one of those YouTube kids.
Yeah.
Pretty
Oh
sure.
yeah.
But I got to they encouraged me. My English teacher actually encouraged me in middle school, Sylvia
Wow.
Upton. She encouraged me to get in the Let It Shine play. So it was a Black History Month
Okay.
play every single year at Northwest Middle School. So I was really scared and I was too shy to do it in 6th grade.
Yeah.
I wanted to. All my friends did it. I was like, I really want to do it. I didn't do it until 7th grade.
Okay.
And then I sang in front of people for the first time.
Yeah.
And I performed a monologue and did all those good things. And then in 8th grade, I landed the Martin Luther King speech, which was like the culmination of the
Yeah.
entire performance. And I was also Louis Armstrong, so I had to sing another song.
God.
And then I was a cowboy named Isom Dart. So
my
talks about
God.
like the black cowboys of the West and all this kind of stuff. So I had 3 roles in my final year. as a
Were you
middle schooler.
scared of any of it, or were you just like, nope, this is what I do?
The first year I was terrified because I
Yeah.
had never done anything like that. I just
Yeah.
wasn't prepared for it. But then the
Yeah.
second year I was like, give me all you got. Like, let's
Oh
figure
my
this thing
God.
out. And then it just became something I did. Like I got into that's when I got into Carpetbags Youth Ensemble. I was
Okay.
actually too young when I graduated. Well, when I graduated, got my diploma from middle school. When I left middle school, I was still 12. I
Okay.
graduated high school at 17. So all these, like, I've always been really young.
I graduated at 17 too, but it's because I have my birthday's in October.
Oh, okay.
So I
Mine's
started-
August 21st.
I started at 13 in high school and then graduated at 17.
That's
And there were like
that's the same
2 or
one
3
for
of
me.
us that were the exact same way.
That was how I was.
Yeah.
But they had when I was 4, they were deciding whether they were going to put me in school or not.
Yeah.
And it was probably the opposite problem. I was so little. They were like, I don't know if you're going to be able to do school or not.
I didn't hit a
'Cause you're
growth
so-
spurt until I was 8 years old.
Really?
Like, I was actually shorter until 8 years old, and then all of a sudden it was just like,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
It just went up. Yeah.
No, I was really, really small.
Yeah.
And they didn't think I would work well in school. But I took a test and my mom said that my test scores were that of like a 6.5, 7-year-old.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I was apparently really smart then. I don't know what happened, but I was apparently really smart when I was a kid.
I like that.
But it was
then.
basically just because my sister's like 3.5 years older than me.
Yeah.
So it was basically like I was a dumb version of her, but that's who I hung out with every day. Like
Yeah.
that was so
Yeah.
I was just on her. I credit my sister for getting me good
Okay.
scores on tests. But did all that, got into school, and then just started performing. And then it was just something I did. Like it was just I got into I did forensics in high school. So I was doing the Tennessee High School Speech and Drama League.
Okay.
So I did after dinner speaking, and I did duo improv, and I did like
Wow.
anything they challenged me to do. I was just like, let's do it.
Which high school did you go
Went to West.
Okay. Did
So
you
we,
know, do you know any of the Bairds? There were like 3 sisters and a brother. The brother would have been older because he was older than me. He was the kicker. And then
Oh,
the
yeah.
Chrissy was the youngest. She was the track and field that like
Yep.
she would go to Germany.
Oh, yeah.
So I grew up with them.
They were like the superstars in the school.
Yeah,
That was
like
basically what they
their
did.
dad Jim is like an uncle, air quotes uncle.
okay, cool.
Him and his wife are uncle. Yeah, I went to a lot of West football games when Fulton lost out and wouldn't go to the playoffs, or we'd lose out in the first one. I would go watch West play with the Bairds. Yeah,
Our West was good when I was in school. So it was
I'm trying to remember the English teacher's name. He was a guy. He was probably in his 40s, glasses,
Ash.
very. I don't know how to say
super
that.
stacked.
No.
No, okay.
I don't know a polite way to say this. He was very fey. Like, I don't know if he was a gay man or if he was just very. I don't know how to say that. I had him for summer school at Central one year, and he had taught at West, and he said, he told us, he was like, I don't know why he told kids this. He's like, I've been teaching there for 12 years. They finally fix up the school, and all of a sudden I get a Teacher of the Year award. And I don't know why. I've been doing nothing different. It's just we're the cool school now or something. And that was like that would have been 95 when I went to summer school. And 95?
I don't know who that would have been.
I think it was 95. Yeah, 95.
So I started there in 99.
Oh, okay. I can't remember. He wasn't that tall, but black hair, little glasses, kind of little portly, but He was a super nice teacher. He made us watch. He's like, I don't have time for y'all to read all these books, so we're going to watch the Outsiders movie, and then we're going to talk about it. And that's what we did. Like every day, we watched a movie based on a book, and he would tell us how it was different from the book, and then we would discuss the themes and everything, and write an essay on that. I was like, yeah, it's summer school. I'm just trying to get out of here, man. I don't want to be here.
I did summer school once, and that was it.
It was.
It just felt wrong.
Yeah.
School's out for summer.
Yeah.
That's what's supposed to happen.
And I worked. I've worked since 7th grade. I worked at the ball fields, like Alice Bell Ballpark and stuff, or Winona, where we would drag the fields before that night's games, and then we'd keep score.
I did stuff like that too.
Yeah.
My dad was the rec league commissioner
Really?
for Badgett Field.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
we used to. That was over by my house.
Yeah.
So I used to go up there and I got drug trash and
Oh my God.
did all that kind of. And he paid me like $20. So I was always
Man,
like
you
I was
got paid a
always
lot
doing
more.
something. Well, I mean, you
Yeah.
go drag the trash.
Oh yeah.
Then man,
Oh,
funny
yeah.
story. So funny.
Yeah.
So my friend Tyler Smith, we grew up together. We
Okay.
played on baseball teams together.
Okay.
And then one year we got split apart, and he hit me. We were both pitchers. He hit
Yeah.
me pitching, and
Oh,
I
man.
laid on the ground and I was hurt. And then he laid on the pitcher's mound crying.
Oh,
So
my
everybody
God.
thought it was just such a big moment, but it was great.
I will tell you, look, my dad. So my dad is. It's hard to imagine. He's a big dude. He's a former
what?
truck driver. Yeah.
No way.
You've actually probably met him because now that he's retired, all he does is go out and hang. He goes to every single thing he can. But he's very nice now, but he was a little scarier back then. And one of the angriest I've ever seen him was at Pleasant Ridge basketball when we were playing out there one year from playing at Alice Bell. We went out there to play, and the coaches were also the refs for the other Pleasant Ridge teams.
Oh,
so
nice.
we always got unfairly treated
Yeah.
by the refs. And there was one time where we were walking out and we had lost, and who was our ref had taken off his ref shirt and was putting on his shirt to coach. And Dad walked by, turned around, made us all stop and stand right in front of him, and he just started pointing at him. He was like, I'm going to tell you boys something. Y'all didn't lose this game. These motherfuckers made you like screaming at those guys sitting on a couch. And he's like, you all didn't lose. You hang your head high. You fuck. Like, I was like, yes, Dad. Yes, Dad.
Yeah,
I was like,
I'm with you.
I was like 6th grade. I was like, holy shit.
No.
He's going to kill somebody. What the hell, Dad?
That's one thing about it.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with kids.
Oh, there's another one I love that we were practicing, and he told me recently he told me a little bit of the real side of this that I didn't know. Is we were playing another team in just a scrimmage game, and the other team's coaches were the dad of one of the kids and the half brother of one of the kids.
Oh, boy.
On the team. So we did a jump ball, and I just didn't know my own strength, and he was a small kid, and I did that, and he went flying and he hit the wall and was laying on the ground. I was a kid. I didn't know. I was
Yeah.
like 13 or so. So I just, walked
Sorry, bro.
away, and the half brother came and started getting in my face, which was funny because he was like 6 inches shorter than me, even though I was 13. And he was pointing his finger in my face and stuff. And I just remember a shadow coming around and grabbing him by the shoulder and turn him around and say, if you ever fucking Dad just, because Dad was even bigger than me, just like, I will end you. Like,
Your
don't you
life is
ever,
over.
yeah. Dad told me the PS to that. And he's like, well, what really happened was I was over attending to his brother. And then I turned around and saw him yelling at you and thought he was a dumbass for not attending to his brother. And the dad was standing over to the side when I found out that the dad was stinking drunk and he couldn't move from where I was like, oh my God. Okay.
Good
I didn't know any of that. I just knew you yelled at this guy
That's all.
and scared me a little bit.
I was playing, and then here comes this guy, and
Yeah.
then you're yanking him.
It's
around.
like that guy was like 28. He was like a half brother. He was older. Like it
That's
was.
so weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's, I've seen Dad mad maybe really mad like 5 or 6 times. And almost all of them were around sports, around somebody. Yeah.
If you ever want to see me mad, let one of
Yeah.
my teams lose.
Oh my God.
And that's about how it goes.
Well, I asked about the high school because did they have a drama department or theater
Yep.
or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had, so my drama teacher was Leslie Bentz. A lot of people know her as Miss Doody. But she was Doody. She already knows all the jokes.
Spit coffee.
She already knows all the jokes.
Oh my God.
She understands. It was a married name, so it's like you had to
my
like
God.
him. That you had to like him, I guess.
Oh my God.
But it was when I started, she was just all about her some meat. Like you
Okay.
can do anything. You can go be a star. You can go do
Okay.
this and you can do that. And I listened to what she said, and
yeah.
that was it. I was still doing stuff on and off with Carby Bag. I was still
Yeah.
part of the youth ensemble, but we always did stuff in summers, so it
Okay.
kind of never conflicted.
Okay.
So I was always going back and forth doing.
So
was
at
it
West,
competing?
was it more like standard stuff, or was she reaching outside for weird play? Like, was she doing like Shakespeare, or was she doing like oddball stuff?
I was never in the plays. We did musicals. We never
Okay.
had plays.
Okay.
But we had the theater department was basically like the theater classes, and then
Yeah.
we'd have. I think we had like maybe 1 or 2 plays a year, but it was
Okay.
always like musicals. So then the roles were basically for the chorus kids.
Yeah.
But I never started singing. Everybody tells me I can sing a little, but
Okay.
I've never actually decided, oh, I'm going to sing something. Let me sing something for you guys. But then we competed in the Tennessee High School Speech and Drama League.
Oh wow.
So we would go to like Bearden would always have like a huge everybody like it was like the Bearden Invitational, and then you'd have every year we got to go up to the Edgemont Hotel up in Gatlinburg.
Oh yeah.
The big one on on the little river right there.
Yeah.
So we'd take over that whole thing. So there would be competitions inside hotel rooms.
Oh wow.
So you do like after dinner speeches, and we had one of my friends. He and I did a duo. We did duo improv.
Okay.
So you'd walk in and be like almost like Whose Line Is It Anyway? You'd walk in and you get a scene, and it could be drama, it could be comedy, whatever it might
Wow.
be. He and I
Okay.
were so good together that it was just like we were gonna win every
Yeah.
year, every time we went.
Yeah.
And we won. I think we got like 3rd in state.
That's
doing
crazy.
improv.
That's
And then we
wild.
got we won several just regional or like local competitions. Just he and I doing stuff. There was one time we did one, and he and I were both literally like crying. And it was just like, how did we do this? But we pulled something out of the hat, and it was like, tell somebody that your father died or something. I don't know what it was.
I thought it'd be funny. It's like, dude, I turned around and pulled out nose hair and just in tears.
No, oh man, it was so wild. We both got done, and we were like, how did we do that? we walked out of that room like, we are so cool.
Yeah. Hold it together. Hold it together. Get out of the room first. Get out of the room first.
Just get out of the room.
Then
It
you're
was
just
crazy, though.
high-fiving and
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it was so funny, dude. Like it was just, we had so much fun doing
Oh
that.
my God.
And then that was like, we used to just sit. I had a key to the theater room.
Nice.
So like I could go to the theater room,
Yeah.
which had an entrance to the back
Yeah.
door to the stage. So I could go. So we never did anything.
Yeah.
Like if I really wanted to be like
Yeah.
one of the like the bad kids,
Yeah.
we could have been drunk or high or smoking
yeah.
cigarettes, whatever, in the rafters of the
Yeah.
theater at school. We just thought it was cool to get away with it and go sit on the prop couches in the like, oh, we can do our homework on the prop couches. Nobody knows where we are.
I did the same thing. I was in print shop, and the teacher, he was like, I need you to go buy supplies and stuff every once in a while. So we're going to make you, if you wouldn't mind just going ahead and making yourself a pass to leave campus.
Oh, cool.
And just give it to me, and I'll sign it, and then we'll laminate it. And we'll just do that because in case you get caught or anything,
Oh,
just
cool.
you'll have a pass. I was like, cool. And finally they got security at Fulton, like junior or senior year. I was like, yeah, one security guy. That's adorable. it's like
400 doors.
yeah. There's let's see. There's more guns within 10 feet of you than you don't even have a gun. It was so funny. Well, not funny. I started telling my parents stories about Fulton when I was like
Oh boy.
25, and they're like, and I was like, never mind,
Never mind, just kidding.
abort, just kidding.
See, I made it. Now it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
If
it's
I
funny
told
now.
you about that while I was there, it would have been a little disconcerting.
It was. I started a guy that I graduated with, and I started talking, and his wife was standing there, who was a little bit younger and was almost like saved him from being a problem person.
Oh, really?
And she did not like me. And I want to go, that was then.
That
We're not dumb anymore. We're dumb in different ways. But we're never going to do any of that crap ever again. But I had that pass, and I got caught by the security guard. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I have to go buy print supplies, and here's my pass. He's like, oh, okay. And I almost, as I passed him, went, I designed that, right? I did that. And he signed it. Like, okay, whatever. But I never did anything bad. Like,
That's
I never
how I
even,
was.
I think I stopped at McDonald's and got food one time. And I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, I'm being bad.
Ooh, I got a milkshake.
Yeah.
It's so funny though, because I never, like, I was like, for me, it was like, oh my God, these people trust me enough
Yeah.
to go do
Oh,
this
yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay. But I had the same deal with like my woodshop teacher.
Yeah.
I went in driver's ed
Yeah.
in like a 2-week class, and then for the rest of the semester, you had to just wait until you had your driving portion of your.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to go sit in on another class.
Yeah.
Well, I was in. Not only was I in theater, but I did this thing called Technology Student Association.
Okay.
So I was all about building CO2 race cars and doing CAD design and
God.
doing like that's I love doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was in like I was the kid that was taking apart dad's tools to like
Yeah.
figure out how they work and put them
Yeah.
back together. Like that was
Yeah.
all that I was doing when I was a kid. So I ended up going into Mr. Black's class. He was the funniest teacher. His biggest thing was he would always say, "What are you doing?" Like that's just it sticks in my head to this day. What are you doing? And you're talking about kids with like joiners and bandsaws and
Oh, yeah.
drills and
Yeah.
drill presses and all these like, what are you doing?
Oh, my God.
I heard that 14, 15,000 times a day. So he's just sitting, and I was the kid, and basically I was the guy that had to take Jeremy to the hospital or to the office so he could go to the hospital and get stitched back
my
up.
God.
But after his third time almost cutting his hand off, he cut his pinky off and then he cut his thumb off. Not the whole thing. Just like on
Yeah.
the joiner, he cut like the left side of his pinky off.
Oh, my God.
And then on the bandsaw, he cut the tip of his thumb off. So the same left hand. So when he started cutting his right hand, he cut his right hand on a drill press. Don't know how he did that one.
Oh, my
He had
God.
it's like you had to have your hand under there.
Yeah, yeah,
to get,
yeah.
And pulling it down, and he did the drill press, and it popped the hole in his like he popped the hole
Yeah.
right here in his
Oh,
thumb.
God.
And they were like, "Okay, man, you're gonna fail this class, and you're not allowed to go do." And I was the person that always had to take him to
Yeah.
the office, so I just.
Oh, my God.
But I used to go do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
I would walk around. He wouldn't care. He'd be in the in the shop,
Yeah.
making sure kids don't kill themselves. And as long as I knew and Jeremy was gonna have an accident, it was good.
Yeah.
So I would just walk around school. I had my little pass. I had everything, and I was just going around visiting my friends in class, doing like I would go pretend like
Yeah.
I was. Hey, I got Mr. Black needs you in the office, and then get him out of class, and then we'd go like run around school for 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh, my God.
Like it was just fun, but I never. That was the extent of
Yeah.
what I could do in high school.
We-
I even did that in middle school though.
Oh, my God.
I used to sneak out,
See, I never.
but I never did anything.
Yeah.
I did have a 7th grade girlfriend when I was in 6th grade.
Older woman.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Woo.
Yeah.
So I used to sneak out and like meet her in the hallway,
Yeah.
and then it was pretty funny.
There's a difference between Fulton. Like, we had vocational department, which was like print shop was on one end. And then on the other end, there was upholstery, woodworking, electrical, and auto mechanics.
Y'all had so much more stuff than we did.
We were a vocational school. Like when my dad and uncles went up there, the only 9th graders in the building were kids in vocational school. Like everybody else was still in middle school, and then would go up there in 10th grade. But this is pretty graphic. There was a gal with me in print shop that her boyfriend was auto mechanic. She was like, I wore a skirt today because there's this hallway over there that we're going to go pound one out really quick.
Nice.
Yeah. She got pregnant at 16.
What?
Imagine that.
What?
Yeah. I know that's shocking.
That is. I'm shocked.
Yeah. And I was
I'm
like,
absolutely-
I just remember her telling me that as she's sitting next to me, whispering in my ear, and I'm like, I kind of didn't need to know any of that. I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to have to, I play football with him. I'm going to have to look at him later and going, I know why you're slacking this afternoon.
I know why you're so.
Why you got wobbly legs, you dumb. Yeah.
I know why you're tired.
We did. I do remember it was geography. Here's how bad this is. It was either geography or history. I don't know which class. The head coach taught that me and this guy, who I will not name because he got in trouble later, we would go and work out in the weight room, clean up the weight room, and then paint. We were both, he was an artist, I was an artist. So we would paint the signs that were the advertisements on the side of the football field. That's what we did for class. We would literally walk into class and go, here, and he'd be like, all right, y'all can go. Me and this guy, Jeff. And we would go down there and lift weights, and that's all we did. And one guy, about 3 weeks in, was like, well, they get to leave. And he looked at me, he's like, you see the size of them? If you look like that, I'd let you go too. I was like, man, you'd be fired so quick, right? Oh, my God. You'd be in so much trouble. Okay, so you're doing that. Were you into poetry or doing spoken word or anything?
I got into poetry at 13.
Okay.
So that was where I started performing. That was actually, that's how I got the name Courageous.
Okay. Do you know who introduced you to it? Was your folks?
Do you remember a guy a long time ago named Seed?
No.
Stephen Heathcock?
Now, that name sounds familiar. I don't remember Seed. But
So Knoxville used to be a really, really powerful city in the slam poetry scene.
Okay.
Knoxville used to win or come in the top 3 or 4 in like the Southern Fried Poetry Slam and like the National Poetry Slam scene all the time.
I didn't know it was that big. I remember the name, but
so like Daniel Roop and Julia Nance and all these people like used to just go out and be like absolute beasts in our from Knoxville. So you had all these like just absolute brilliance coming out of Knoxville. So people still recognize Knoxville as a place. Like Knoxville has one of the greatest, richest histories in authors and writing and like all the way back James Agee and all these people. Like Knoxville's always been a writer's place.
Yeah.
So you've got this kind of stayed, and of course like it changes. Slam poetry isn't recognized in the annals of history and all that kind of stuff. But for the people that were coming to teach workshops with young people, Seed came and through Carpetbag, actually, it was kind of weird, but I went to the Youth Theater Festival when I was 13, and Seed actually came. The Youth Theater Festival is a day-long festival. Yeah. So the morning is full of performances, and then there's a lunch break, and then the afternoon is full of workshops by the people who did the performances. Yeah. So the theme every single year is I can do that. So it's to teach kids like, hey, you can do what you just saw on stage earlier. It's not that big a deal. Here's a workshop to learn how to do it. So sure enough, Seed had done a performance, and then the next in the afternoon, I took a workshop, and I was just like, okay, well, that was cool. Maybe I'll do poetry. And I got in. He did this poem called Teacher Please, and I've asked him to this day if he remembers it, but he has no idea like what the he was like, oh man, I just wrote that like just messing around. But it was literally like saying everything I felt about like the first line was like, teacher, please teach my ass. Don't something and then wonder why I sleep through your class. Yeah. And it's like, what is good? I know that you've been living my life. So it was just like I hated going to school. I didn't think I knew everything, but all the stuff they were teaching me, like, you taught me that 3 years ago. I don't need to learn this again. Yeah. Can we do something else, please? Yeah. So it was just, I was just that kind of kid. Like I was bored. I hated school because it was just boring, absolutely boring. And as soon as I got to middle school, that was where like elementary school, I was learning all new stuff. I was on honor roll. I was like that kid. And then I got to middle school and was like, didn't we just learn this like 3 days ago? Yeah. And actually one of the crazy, like way off on a tangent rabbit hole, I had, in 4th grade, I was in a split class there was too many kids in my school. So in 4th grade, I was in a class with 5th graders. So I started getting advanced and I was doing the 5th grade spelling test instead of 4th grade. I'd like to be challenged. Yeah. 5th grade, I was in a split class again with the 4th graders, but my teacher was an absolute racist. Like this lady, if I could piss on her grave, I would go find it and do everything I could just to make sure. She sat all the black kids in the front on the first day of school. So no matter what it would go through. Like we had people would come to school to tell them my child is not going to be in her class. Wow. She will not be in her class. And it was Miss Buchanan. Fuck that lady. Absolute, like she was one of the worst people. Wow. She would just tell, like, if I had a answer to a question, it was not going to get answered. If any, like me, Russell, Keisha, like all the kids that were in the class, she just would ignore us. It was just blatant. Wow. We all saw it. We all came home crying every day. Like it was just one of those things. And I really lost a lot of my
drive.
Like my drive to actually achieve in school. I'm like,
Yeah.
this lady's gonna give me a D on my fucking homework assignment, no matter if I get all the answers right. So
Yeah.
I just stopped doing homework. I stopped
Yeah.
coming. I would take the test, and she would probably grade it wrong. Like, I just didn't even
Yeah.
care. So I was on the point of failing 5th grade, and then I got to 6th grade, and I was just like, all teachers are like this. Fuck all you teachers. But then, like, I would have fun in class. I would talk. That's where I basically,
Yeah.
I would talk to the kids she was ignoring. So we'd sit here and talk and do all these things while she's just doing what she wanted to do. So then that's where I lost a lot of my drive to, like, achieve in school at all.
Yeah.
And then, so that kind of having that poem and having that outlet for
Yeah.
all my frustration was just kind of where I was going through a rough time, like family wise too at that time.
Okay.
So it was just like I had an outlet and I had something to do. So the arts really changed who I was going to be.
It was a positive outlet.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And there were people I could have hung out with that was
Yeah.
like one of my best friends going through from like middle school to high school. He had alcohol poisoning, tried to commit suicide and all this. Like, so here's where I would have been. And then
Yeah.
there's also got into church when I was like
Okay.
started high school, got into church. So it was like a whole, like my life could have been really, really different if it weren't for like the arts and just having an outlet and having positive people to surround myself with
Yeah.
at that time. So then it was just kind of I started writing more and I started performing more, started getting more comfortable on stage. And then when I was 19, the Knoxville Poetry Slam, Rhea Carmen,
Okay.
who used to be Rhea Scruggs, she was the master of ceremonies or the MC
Okay.
for the Knoxville Poetry Slam, and I was a regular. I was just going. She let me start hosting. So then I started hosting the Poetry Slam,
God.
and then I started performing, and I'd have like little challenges for people. Hey, next month I want you to write a poem about this, and we do it.
I was going to say, did people in that community pull you in, almost like mentor you?
Oh,
like
yeah.
seeing you as like
Oh, yeah.
the next thing, the next generation or whatever.
That
you
was
know?
what, and I know like I would win poetry slams. Like I won our poetry slam when I was 16, I think, like our city-wide
Yeah.
slam, so that we could go perform at Southern Fried. So this is before there was a youth poetry scene at all.
Oh, okay.
So I was competing with adults. Like we didn't have a youth poetry scene in the
I'm trying to
90s,
think,
2000s.
around that time too, were they doing anything at Java? Because that's
Yeah.
back when Renee owned Java,
Yep.
and it was all ages. Because I
Yeah.
would go to, in the early 2000s, I was running a music site called Knox Bands. Do you remember Knox Bands? That was
Yeah.
me.
Oh, cool.
So I would go there for punk shows, and it would be a lot of like high school kids.
Yeah.
So in the early 2000s, like
Yeah.
it was always. So I was like, yeah, they probably did. I was probably there for some. I was probably there seeing some poetry show. No doubt that I was there. Yeah.
We used to, it was between Java and then Barley's always had the Knoxville Poetry Slam.
Okay.
And that was like 90s, going like late 90s, 2000s, going
Yeah.
into, it changed in 2004,
Man.
I think. And that's when we had the old Corner Lounge.
Oh yeah.
So the Corner Lounge, we were doing it every month at the Corner Lounge. And it was always just a sea of people in the
I'm trying to
Corner
remember
Lounge.
his name. Bud, the owner of the corner. The old
Bud,
owner.
and then you remember Adrian?
Yeah.
So Adrian, that was where I met Adrian.
I had the biggest crush on Adrian.
Did you?
Forever.
I think
Yeah.
everybody did.
Yeah, I think that's one. I think there are certain people around town that it's just like, oh yeah, everybody
yeah,
kind of
everybody
loved her.
knows
Everybody
Adrian.
kind of. I think she's already married and stuff at that
Probably,
point. But
I
I would
think so.
go there for shows when Hot Fest was still happening.
Oh,
when
yeah.
John Coffey was doing
Man.
Hot Fest.
This is memory lane right here.
Yeah, and it was, man. I remember they had no air conditioning.
Nope.
He had Hot Fest in like July, and there was one
The
point where
back door would have to be open.
Oh, I got a funny story about that. But there was, I remember they had a bartender, a younger woman that almost did not look old enough to be serving beer
Mm-hmm.
out of a trough of ice. And I looked at her, I was like, how much should I have to pay you to dip my head in that damn trough? I'm dying. It's so damn hot. And then Jeff from the West Side Daredevils, Mick Harrison performed, and I was like, man, I'm such a V-Roy's fan. I'd love to. And Jeff was like, do you want to go back to the green room and meet him? I was like,
No.
yeah. And he was like, he may be kind of drunk, so it may be okay.
long as you
I was like, okay. So we walked out the back door. There's no green room. It's just a patch of grass. And I was like, oh, jeez, dude, you idiot. I was like, and he was like, and I met Mick, and he was super nice. He was super drunk.
Yeah.
Drunk Mick likes to hug me and kiss me on the cheeks.
Oh, okay.
Sober Mick is like, I think I know you. I was like, damn it, Mick.
I know
was
you.
like,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah. It's like, here, drink a beer. Drink a beer so you can remember
Here,
me.
4 beers. Here.
Yeah.
You're going to be my friend.
Yeah.
How long will it take you to chug these?
Yeah, but yeah, the corner. Oh man, the corner lounge. That's that big. I have been working my butt off because I know the new owner, Steve. He's awesome, Brooklyn. I'm trying to find the old parachute. The old parachute. The tie-dyed parachute.
Yes.
So I've got.
Do you know where it is?
Can't find it. I have asked everybody, and it's even gotten to Adrian, and she was like, "We don't know what happened to it. Like it just got gone."
It just doesn't seem like the same place without it. I saw a picture of somebody standing there the other day, and I was just like,
I did.
What in the world is that?
I did an entertainment magazine for about a year called Paper Thin. It's a little digest, full color, and I did a photo shoot in there with Tim and Susan with the Tim Lee 3 when Rodney was still in the band, and it has that backdrop.
If you can see, that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to recreate it.
Yeah, I want to find that because it was this weird tie-dyed.
It was so wild.
Yeah, and I still got those photos, and I keep meaning to take copies of the magazine to Brooklyn. He was like, "If you can," I was like, "I know, I need to find the photos." They're buried on some hard drive because it's from 12 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Wow, y'all had it at the corner lounge.
That's was where we were there for a long, long time. Yeah. And then I remember Adrian coming to me. So Rhea eventually, she decided she was going to hang it up and just left the whole poetry slam to me. And I was like 21 or 22.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? So then we moved to Time Warp.
Oh yeah.
So we were there for quite a while.
Okay.
And then they came to me. I was trying to run everything. That's when Lane came in, and as part of the poetry slam.
Yeah.
And he had come in. Basically, he was just a horrible poet. He came in and was like, he couldn't remember his poems, and it was just like, no, I'm stupid. And then it was like, okay, I really want to get better at poetry. How can we do this? Yeah. So he and I started meeting up and started like working on things. And then he just basically said, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a poem that's going to blow everybody away. He said, okay, cool.
Wow.
I'll be there, man. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
So he came up, and sure enough, did it and absolutely like blew everybody. It took him like a few months to a year, somewhere around like less than a year, longer than 3 months, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But and if I was more mentally aware, I probably could have decided how long it was. But it was like it was just this little period of time where we didn't see him, and then all of a sudden he would come and he wouldn't perform.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he just came up and he was like, I'm about to wreck this shit. I'm gonna do it. So then he comes up and just blows everybody away.
Oh my God.
So he won the slam that night, and then he and I started like working on making sure like people were there, because it became really, really hard to get people there. Like nobody knew where Time Warp was, no matter how much you put the address on something. People were still.
That was also still when Happy Holler was no longer as sketchy as it used to be.
Yeah.
But it was
still
getting
a little
there.
sketch. Yeah.
It was still getting there.
It was like semi Happy Holler.
I laugh because I grew up hearing stories from my dad and uncles about when it was rough.
Oh,
and then playing pool in a place there, and they told a story about some dude walking in. They were like in high school, and I think maybe even like freshmen, like early high school, because they're riding bicycles. They weren't driving. And this guy walked in, and the guy behind the bar yelled at him, and that guy left, and that guy, mid-cleaning a beer mug, said, boys, you all need to leave. There's about to be a police raid to happen, because they had illegal gambling in the back.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and he was like, they all just got on their bikes because my grandma, my granny, did not want them in Happy Holler.
Yeah.
And so if they got caught in Happy Holler, there would be hell to pay.
Oh, boy.
So it's interesting. Like, I remember the early days of Time Warp, when Time Warp finally came in there, and it was like, it's for people who don't know about Time Warp, it's hilarious, because it's not hilarious, but it's a place for old bikers who are now sober.
Yeah. So
they can hang out without having to do it around alcohol.
And that was kind of, I think that was the draw to it for a lot of people. When there's a speed racer kind of bike sitting in the middle, a cafe racer, sitting in the middle of the space.
Yeah.
I loved it. I'm a big motorcycle fan.
Oh, okay.
I used to ride for a little while until somebody stole my motorcycle.
Oh my God.
And then I got a picture of it from a salvage yard that says, hey, is this your bike?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's mine.
Was it already stripped and everything?
Wheels were gone, engine was gone, exhaust was gone. And I had just gotten the exhaust put on it.
Oh my
Like
god.
it sucked.
Yeah.
And then the insurance wouldn't cover it because they said I wasn't storing it correctly. They did everything. I have a garage. Apparently, I told them, I don't know where it all came. They said I had it in a garage. And I was like, no, I have a garage port. I have a car port.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's not what your insurance says.
Oh my god.
That's not what your profile says.
Oh
They're
my
like, well,
God.
we can't cover it. It's been stolen. And
What a-
so that was fun.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think I needed to get off of it anyway. I was going.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. They hit a certain age. They're like, man. There was one guy when I was in college. I went to Pellissippi, and a lot of I was in classes where every person was 10 years or more older than me. And one of the guys in there, he was like, "There's only two type of people who own a motorcycle: those who have had a wreck and those who are gonna have a wreck."
Yep.
And he had slid on I-40 on the concrete, was not wearing proper clothing, and he was like, "My entire back is grafted skin,
Ugh.
parts of my legs." He was like, he's like, people make fun when I'm in July and I'm wearing full leather gloves. He's like, it took one time to learn that lesson. And he's like, and I tell everybody, like, yeah, there's a lot of people I know that have gotten older and like, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
That's why when those
I still want a cruiser. Like I still want to go out and there was a quote that there was 4 wheels move your body and 2 wheels move your soul. And that was like my favorite thing because that's really I actually wrote when we left Time Warp.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote them a poem and I put a picture. I wrote this whole like motorcycle poem.
Yeah.
And I put it on like with that quote in it.
Yeah.
And I put it up on a frame and a picture and I left it in
Nice.
there. I don't know if they ever put it up, but it was meaningful to me. I thought it was cool.
That's one of those places I always forget about it.
Mhm.
I need to go back there.
It's a
more
neat little
often.
cafe.
Yeah.
And they have Italian sodas. Just want you to know. Italian cream sodas, man.
I'm trying to cut back on sugar and
I'm trying. I'm really trying. That's
oh man.
probably the hardest thing for me.
Yes, I need to start going there instead of the coffee shops because I
Yep.
seem to go back to the same coffee. No, God love it. They're all amazing.
They're all
Yeah. I wonder if
not bad things to say about
now
it.
I'm down a brain. I was like, man, do they have Wi-Fi? I can go.
They
there
do
and
have
work.
Wi-Fi. We
I
sure
can
do.
go, damn it. I'm gonna write that down. Time Warp.
Time Warp Tea Room.
Yeah.
But I had a motorcycle wreck back in 2005. I got hit by a Toyota Camry. So
Okay.
that was fun. No, it was 2008, sorry. No, it might have been 2009. One of those.
Do you have CTE from
Yeah,
that wreck?
probably. I'm almost sure. But it was weird. I never wore my jacket.
Oh, really?
And it was early September, and I was on my way to work, and I was like, it's probably going to be cold today. I'll just put on my jacket because it's going to be chilly.
Yeah.
Got on my bike, I lived off Pleasant Ridge at the time,
Okay.
so I was coming down, the intersection where Shoney's and Wendy's, right
Yeah.
there. I think it's Copper Kettle.
Yeah.
So I was coming right there. I was making a left-hand turn onto Western to go get on 40
Yeah.
or 640 to go 40. And as soon as I made the turn, left-hand light came out, started accelerating. I looked up and I noticed the car in front of me didn't move. So the car that was blinker left hand, it didn't move. It just kind of was about to go and then it didn't. And then I was like, that's weird. And then I looked out of the side of my helmet and here comes this Toyota Camry just out of nowhere.
Oh, man.
And so at the last second, when I saw it, out of the corner of my helmet, I just yanked my bike to the left out of her lane.
Oh.
And then when I yanked it, it basically threw me kind of high-sided me a little bit into her car. So I ended up hitting her mirror and then rolling my handlebars down. There was a big gash down the side of her door.
Oh, God.
And then she would have T-boned me if I hadn't.
Yeah.
It turns out she was basically reaching behind her, picking up her daughter's Cheerios she had just spilled from the seat, blowing through an intersection at 45 miles an hour on Western Avenue
red
at
light.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's what she was up to. So I'm going through I'm basically come down and my jacket had tire prints on it. So it pinched. I don't know if it pinched my arm. I still have shoulder problems to this day. I don't know what it did. But then my helmet, there was chips from my helmet on her rear driver's side wheel.
Oh, my God.
So on the wheel, there's my helmet got chipped off and all that kind of stuff. And they basically
Oh, my God. And yet in Kentucky, it's no helmet loss.
no helmet.
You would have died.
I would have died.
Yeah.
So would have died.
God.
Even from just a slip like that sideways.
That's nuts.
But she got out and she started crying. And then it was weird. There was a guy in a Porsche, silver Porsche, and he's a lawyer. He's at the intersection,
Yeah.
so he sees the whole thing.
Oh.
So then he pulls. I should have called. He gave me his card.
Yeah.
I've never been that kind of person. Like,
Yeah.
I know you made a mistake. I'm not going to try to sue you for $5 million. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. So then I get in and I pull out. I pull over to that CVS or Walgreens that right there. So I walked my bike over there.
Yeah.
Traffic didn't even stop. They were just like, oh, yeah, whatever.
Oh my God.
So I'm walking through traffic trying to roll my bike over. Police officer shows up. I didn't have my wallet on me. So he writes me a ticket for not having a license or insurance or proof of registration. So I got a ticket
Yeah.
for, like, it all totaled up to be like $390. Thanks, KPD.
Yeah.
So then I come out.
That's when you go, oh, my wallet must have got stuck in her wheel well
yeah.
or something.
Yeah. When this lady hit me and I'm over here bleeding, I got, thanks for the ticket, sir.
Yeah.
It's protected and serving my ass.
my God.
Appreciate it. And then she couldn't even talk. She was just literally like,
Yeah.
yeah. She couldn't even. So her husband shows up and then he's like, are you okay? Is everything all right? So then the daughter, she's like 2. She's in a car seat and she's just sitting back there hanging
She's
out.
like, I want my Cheerios.
Yeah, basically like, Mom, hey, come on, what's going on? I've been waiting on these Cheerios for like 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
And then my dad shows up and he wants to. Then the guy from the lawyer shows up and he just absolutely balls this lady out. He's like, "You stupid ass! You should have killed
Wow.
this guy! You could have killed him!
Oh my God.
I am a lawyer. I'm gonna get you for every penny. You can't. You have to look what you're doing." Like, just going in on this. I'm like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
She made a mistake. I'm
Yeah.
okay. I'm alive.
Yeah.
I slept for 3 days. They put me
Wow.
on. They put me on pain meds, and I hate taking pills. Like
yeah.
but I needed them. I was in pretty bad shape. But I rode my motorcycle home.
Oh my God.
Yep. My rear brake had broken off, but I made it home with front brake, and then all the scrapes and scratches and plastic hanging off and all kind of stuff sounded weird. But I pulled into my driveway, and then my dad took me to the doctor to get X-rays and do all the things, and they said, like, nothing's broken. You might have a fracture, but we can't see any breaks right now, so I think you're okay. So then I basically they gave me promethazine or something. I don't know whatever it was made my skin crawl like horribly.
God.
So I didn't finish it. I took like 2 days of it, and I laid on the couch for 3. I literally slept. My job called me. It was like, "Are you alive? Like, are you?" I called in while I was sitting there with the police officer and said, "Hey, I'm not gonna make it to work. I had a motorcycle wreck." And they were like, "Oh my God, are you okay?"
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm okay. I'm not gonna make it. I just want you to know.
I need to go to the hospital.
And I didn't. I didn't call again.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't like no call, no show. I just called. Hey, I had a motorcycle wreck.
Yeah.
And I'll be in.
Oh, and they were terrified you were dead.
They basically thought I was dead. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So my old manager, he texted me. He was like, "Dude, are you okay?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I didn't realize I've been asleep for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And I just had no idea.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Wow.
But I rode home,
Nuts.
got back on the motorcycle, went and rode the Dragon.
Did you ever hear from her again?
Nope.
Or? No.
No. When I see a dark gray 2006, 2005 Toyota Camry, I always wonder if it's her, but
On the sunny side, it was a 2006 Camry, so it's all plastic. It wasn't metal, which probably would have really messed you up.
it would have.
Yeah.
It was rough, though.
Yeah.
It was a rough couple of weeks after that. I still got back problems and all that. Like, my mechanic, he was like, you know, your back's like a hard block of cheese, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, as soon as you break it, as soon as you twist it around the wrong way and do all that kind of stuff, it's never going back the way it was.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that, Mike.
So are you Mike PhD at this time, or Dr. Mike? Or?
He's Mike. I've had 14 motorcycle wrecks.
Oh, yeah.
So he knew what he was talking about. But my back and shoulders still aren't the same. They never will be.
Now I'm just picturing somebody getting up and looking like a slinky, just kind
Yeah.
of like boom, 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 boom.
That's how I felt.
Oh my God.
It was so wild. And I remember like glimpses of it, but I don't remember the whole thing. But it was just that was a rough. My mom, she never wanted me to buy a motorcycle. I had to tell her one time, like, listen, if I get killed on this thing, I want you to know I was really, really happy. And that's all I can tell you. Like, motorcycle riding was like my therapy at the time, and it was just what I needed. I could clear my head, put my headphones in if I wanted to, and just put $6 in a gas tank and ride for 4 hours. Like, that was just what I could do.
I keep getting the itch. I've never ridden. I do not know how to ride a bicycle. because I grew up riding skateboards.
Oh, okay.
And I never learned how to ride a
Well,
bicycle.
I can't do a skateboard, so.
Sean Pointner he has been yelling at me for 5 years. He's like, it's my job to teach you how to ride a bicycle. I was like, dude, I'm too old. I will break something if I fall. But every once in a while, when I'm driving downtown, I'm like, I would love to have just a little motorcycle, like, which of course it can be little for me. It'd have to be a big ass motorcycle. But I was like, I'd love to have one for that exact reason.
Yeah.
I was like, so I spend 75 cents.
Yeah.
Even though my car gets great gas mileage, it's
Yeah.
still like, I still have to get in the car and find a parking spot, all that crap, to where if I just had a motorcycle, like I could get down
Pull
there,
up
or
wherever.
a scooter. I could get a scooter. That would be hilarious.
Scooters are a lot of fun, though.
I would look like Grape Ape at that point.
Scooters are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it's like there's like just something about a motorcycle, man. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll never not have one. I haven't had my motorcycle got stolen 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I've been traveling so much and so busy. I just
Yeah.
haven't
Gotta
decided
yeah.
to get one. But I'll probably go on like Facebook Marketplace and find one of the
Oh yeah.
2001 Kawasaki Vulcan or something like
Yeah.
that and just get a
I was gonna say,
Cruiser
do you
to
have
be
a
out on.
type that you like? You like a cruiser?
my ideal bike would be like a Suzuki Hayabusa
Okay.
or like I'm a Kawasaki person, so
Yeah.
the Kawasaki ZX, the ZX1, like
Okay.
the 1000,
Okay.
that would be the one, but I don't trust myself on them anymore. Like I got to a point where I was trying to see how fast I could go.
Oh God.
Fastest my body has ever moved is 167 miles an hour. And that scared me enough.
Oh. Although there was one time when I first got in my car, I drove to Savannah, and it was middle of the night, interstate, south of Atlanta, north of Savannah, no lights. And I'm driving. I was like, I'm going to push this little Yaris as hard as I can. And I got up to 105. And at that moment, 3 motorcycles flew past me.
Oh boy.
I was like, they had to been doing 150.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no, and then I saw him later stop for gas. And I was like, of course you stop for gas.
Yep.
You warn all that. But I was like, 150. I was like, we're in the South. There could be deer. Like,
Oh, yeah.
There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
lights. What the hell are you thinking? Like daytime, maybe, but nighttime, you're out of your mind.
It's
Yeah.
so when I started driving, my
Yeah.
dad took me out on Pellissippi.
Oh,
and I guess
yeah.
he just knew, like, there's no cops out here. I'm gonna get this speed thing out of you. I know you want to go fast. Here, see how fast you can get this thing. And if you feel comfortable, we'll go
Yeah.
120 miles, whatever you want to do, go.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and I got up to like 115, and I was like, all right, that
Yeah.
was good, that was fun. Okay,
Yeah.
not gonna do that again.
Yeah.
It's like car was about to fall apart and all this kind of stuff. I was like,
God.
okay. So then, but then I just had that need for speed, man. I just really wanted to go fast, and I really like turns.
Okay.
I love getting like it's weird. There's like people you go out of town, like if you go places that aren't East Tennessee and back
Yeah.
roads and mountain roads and all this kind of stuff. You go to like Kansas or if you go
Oh,
to
yeah.
Florida, if you go to these
Yeah.
places, they don't know how to ride motorcycles like we
Oh,
do.
really?
They don't know. They don't
Yeah.
know how to lean into turns. Like
Yeah.
there's a thing on like sport bikes.
Yeah.
There's like these guys, it's kind of a subculture. So you've got people who will like look at each other and how like what kind of gear you have on. They know how you ride by what kind of gear you have
Okay.
on. They know if you're like if you have leathers and it's like all this stuff that's super expensive and then
Yeah.
you don't have any tire tracks on it. Like there's a thing they would call them chicken strips. So it's the strips that are on your tire to tell how far your bike has leaned over.
Oh, okay.
So you
Okay.
can see on like real riders, like people who get down and like touch their elbow on the ground and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They have there's no stripe on the side of their tires.
Okay.
But then people who are scared and want to stay upright and
The
go slow,
dentists that
they've
have-
got like 2 inches of black tire on the side of their tires and then the worn part in the middle. So you've got people like that who will literally like they'll look you down and judge you. It's almost like those old bikers, like you're not a real biker. You
Yeah.
know, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Oh my
they'll
God.
judge you by like what your chicken strips look like. So it was I was like, all right, I'm never gonna be that guy who doesn't have
Yeah.
Never. I'm gonna get down. I rode the Dragon a bunch of times.
Oh my God.
I scraped my ankle on the Dragon one time.
Oh,
I
God.
literally had the bike. I scraped my mirror on the Dragon. I hit my footstool, the foot peg.
Yeah.
I hit the peg on the ground one time, just
Wow.
trying to get as low as I could.
A friend of mine, he is obsessed with like motorcycle racing, and he'll post the videos of the guys that lean down and when they zoom in, and you can see there's like a hair
Oh yeah.
between their knee pad
Oh,
and
yeah.
the ground, and he was like, "Do you know what control that?" I was
Oh.
like, "I can imagine," because they're also flying so fast. I was like, "This is nuts."
That's one of my friends. He his name's Jason. He rides. He rides like novice class in the AMA. Like he'll go do track days, and he told me one day, he was like, you have to invest in good tires.
Okay.
There's 2 millimeters
Yeah.
of your entire motorcycle
Yeah.
that touches the ground,
Yeah.
and it's all on your tire.
Oh,
No matter how fast you can go, no matter what you can do on this motorcycle, you have to have good rubber on your tires.
Okay.
So from that day on, if my tires looked like they were a little bald, I was like, let me get some new ones. I don't
Okay.
care.
Yeah, I've seen some guys with like the sporty bikes with super balls. I was like, "Oh God, that's terrifying."
Now there's sport tires that are
Oh,
made
okay.
to be like sticky. You can't
Okay.
even you have to wear special gloves, like almost like silicone gloves,
Okay.
to touch the tires when they're hot because they're that sticky. They will stick to your hands.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's almost like riding on. It's almost like riding on like cement glue.
Okay.
But they're that sticky.
Oh, wow.
And then it's hot. You can't even like people who do like the motorcycle pit
Yeah.
crews, like for the
Yeah.
racers. They've all got super heat resistant gloves and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
crazy.
It's really wild.
So now I'm curious if you'll judge me for the bike. If I got a bike, like let's say tomorrow, all of a sudden I'm Neo in the Matrix and I know how to ride a bike. Everybody asks what you want your superhero power to be. That's what I would want my superhero power
To learn
be.
how to ride
So
a
I
bike.
can to be able to just be Neo in the Matrix and be
Mhm.
like, okay, now I know how to play guitar like Eddie.
Oh, I
Van
would love
Halen.
that.
Like that's what I would want. If I got one, I would want like either like an old school Indian looking bike.
Oh, I love those.
Or like one of those old army bikes with like the short
Yep.
handles where you almost have to lean over.
Yeah.
That's the kind of bike that every once in a while I see it
I get where you come
with
from.
the big knobby tires. Like I
Yep.
look at those, I'm like, damn it, that's what I want. There's a
That's what
Yeah.
do you do what's the zombie?
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead?
I think his is a little or I'm thinking of what's his name's, but his is
Dixon.
his is
Dale?
more of like one of those, what do you call it, with the long front end,
Mm-hmm. Like
the cruiser
like
kind
a
of.
cruiser
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
those look neat. But I think I would want to be more like over the top. I don't know.
That's one thing. The aggression of like the seat of like the sport bikes,
Yeah,
they really threw me off.
Yeah.
'Cause my back, after I had my wreck, my back couldn't take it anymore.
oh,
So that's
yeah.
why I want a cruiser. It's not about, I would love to go fast and I would love
Yeah.
to hit turns and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But now I just want to be on 2 wheels and
Yeah.
using gas pedals in my right hand.
Oh my
Like
God.
that's all I want right now. So I don't even care.
So I will PS this about the skateboard. I've been terrified. Once they built that skate park, I was like, man, I kind of want to get out. I was like, I'm too top heavy. I'm too old. And then I'm doing this
Going
thing
down.
every year. I come up with a new idea where it's like, I want to do something. Once it hits my birthday, I come up with an idea. So from age 41 to 42, I want to do 12 collaborations with 12 different people. And
Nice.
it doesn't have to be like art. It can be, if you need me to help you build a deck, I'll help you build a deck. But one of my buddies saw that and he was like, I have a wood shop. I want to build you a skateboard. I was like, how big a damn skateboard are you going to be building me? I was like, I can't buy my feet. I wear size 16. My feet are too damn big. And he
Yeah.
was like, oh no, we got you covered.
We got you.
I was like, damn it, I might have to get back up on a skateboard.
Uh-oh.
So we're supposed to work on that in spring. So that will be interesting.
That'd be
It's
way
like we're
too
gonna
cool.
have to get some big ass wheels on that damn
You can
thing.
do it. Put some like pneumatic wheels on it. Like make it an off road skateboard. When we're doing this, I'm going everywhere
I
on it.
can't
Put a
wait.
motor on it.
I can't wait to see the video of people seeing me riding down Gay Street with that big ass skateboard. Like, look
get
at
it.
that dude. It's like, yeah, the fact that he's not dying right now, flipping over face forward. Okay, so y'all were at Time Warp Tea Room, and you were kind of leading the group at that point.
Yeah.
And did it kind of keep on from there? Did people come to you all, or did you kind of try and recruit people or kids?
We always advertised and did all like this stuff for the poetry slams, but eventually we got bumped. So they came to us and told us like, hey, the original owner's coming back and he wants to do this thing on, I can't remember what Fridays we had. I think we were fourth Fridays.
Okay.
And he was like, he really wants that fourth Friday spot and da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Like, we got to ask you guys to take off.
Okay.
All right. Well, so then we actually got with Gina at the Well.
Oh God.
So we were at the Well. I
miss
miss that place so much.
I said if that place was downtown,
It would never close.
It would never close, and also it'd be the best comedy club
Oh man.
in the Southeast.
Yeah.
Almost.
I always think about that Skybox Lounge though. The Sky Lounge or Sky
Skybox. I go into Skybox a lot.
It's the downstairs. I feel like that's what that should be.
No, it's so when it's real cold or real hot, we go up to Skybox because you can smoke inside. So we go in there and smoke cigars.
Mhm.
And the place Mirage, because it used to be on Up Gay.
Mm-hmm.
No, like we'll be in there on a Saturday night, and it's chock-a-block full of college kids or just out of college kids, and the music is so loud that you can hear it upstairs.
Oh boy.
And I'm just like, and they're all smoking hookah and laying on couches and stuff. I was like, what a waste. Like, what a waste. No offense to them. They're not a sponsor of this podcast, so I don't care. But I was just like, man,
this could be so
we
much
need
better.
like a good underground performance venue downtown.
I actually tried to start a performance venue
Really?
in 2012.
So around that time, there was one guy and I that were trying to start a version of the Gray Eagle here because we thought there's nothing in between. You're either the Pilot Light and the next smallest space is like the Bijou.
Yeah.
Like because like Relics is great, Press Room is great. All these places are great, but they're too big.
Yeah.
Like River and Rail
That's
even
exactly
is
what I was trying to
kinda,
do.
it's like straight up concert venue, like for comedy or whatever.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
So I had this place. I built it myself. Nice. I took the, do you know what's the restaurant on the corner of Cumberland and Gay? So you got the big First Horizon now, First Tennessee building, and then you have the Bijou, and then you've got that big open parking space, and it's below Cook Loft.
Oh, Frussies.
Yeah. So then underneath that, if you go down the hill,
Yeah.
there's a door right there.
Yeah.
And it used to be a comic book shop.
I remember that.
They closed it down. I rented it out.
Really?
I was gonna make it into, like, I was calling it Knoxville's Downtown Performance Lounge.
Okay.
It was called the Ink. So I had this whole thing set up. When I got in there, the ceiling had just literally fallen. All like it was a drop ceiling, and it put the drop ceiling. It was all on the floor. The floor was concrete, so it wasn't even painted. There was nothing on it. There was a staircase in there, and there was one bathroom with one stall. Like it was basically nothing.
Yeah.
So I took all the money that I had saved up for my student loans.
Nice.
So I had like $15,000. Like I never needed all the money for my student loans, but I worked through school.
Yeah.
And I planned on just paying it all back, which would have been really cool right now where I'm at with my student loans. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to graduate and I'm not ever going to work for anybody. I'm not going to work for the man. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to make my own building and I'm going to do these things. So I had this whole, it would have seated, I bought 80 chairs and 80 chairs fit in there absolutely perfect.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then I had like popcorn. And then the funny thing was, I don't know if I should tell anybody this, but we don't have to edit this out, but I looked up, I was trying to figure out ways to get open.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. The Metropolitan Planning Commission sucks.
Yeah.
And then it was a hot zone because it's downtown. So there was so much red tape and bureaucracy and all this.
Yeah.
At one point they were telling me I needed a door that opened outward, and then another person was telling me a door that I had to open inward was fine because it was out onto the sidewalk and there wasn't any room outside the sidewalk where people were driving, so it was fine. But then it needed to open outward because it was a venue, and if you wanted more than 80 people in this, or more than 43 people in this venue, then it had to open outward and you had to put crash bars on it. Two people from the city and the county telling me different things. It's like, which way does my door need to open?
I will say, so I'm guessing this is during Haslam's era, not Mayor Rohero.
It was 2012. Yep, that was right before, yeah.
Okay, because if Patricia Robledo would have been in there, it would have happened.
Oh, I'm almost positive.
Yeah,
and it was just
to give a little PS to people who don't know. Like, oh yeah, if Patricia was in there, she'd be like, "No, we're going to figure out how to make this work."
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
If I ever see the guy from Metropolitan Planning Commission that came in there, I'll kick him in the nuts. That's basically what's going to happen.
I wonder if I know who this guy is.
You might. I'm not going to say any names.
No. I wonder if this is the same guy who told Peggy she couldn't put art on top of her building. And the same guy who then went over to Lions Brewing, and they had installed all this stuff. They were kind of the first craft brewer that was like a really independent.
Yeah.
And got to the point where it was at the end they had installed this stuff that they didn't even need, but he said they had to get. And so they were running through the last, and I don't know if Adam will like me telling this. I'm going to tell, I shouldn't have said I lied. It's okay. It's okay. I'm sure Adam's fine with this. The guy said, and they were like, and here's how we do this. And he was like, what if a plane flew into this building? He said, what if you have a heart attack and die while you're doing that? It would cause a problem. And Adam was like, what if a fucking plane falls? What are you talking about? Like, at that point, there's bigger, and had to almost be pulled off the guy because he was like, what is your problem?
It's probably the same guy. Wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Would not doubt it.
Yeah.
But it was just like that. I had built my friend is an architect.
Yeah.
I don't know, went to Clemson. He's not like a stupid person or something.
Yeah.
He's literally got drew up plans that I needed to build a stage that was 1 foot tall because it was actually 11 inches tall because with anything over 1 foot, you had to have a permit and do all this stuff. So I literally I worked within every loophole I could find to figure this out. And also, I started looking up loopholes with gentlemen's clubs.
Nice.
So with strip clubs in Tennessee, if you do memberships, you can literally do whatever you want inside the building. If it's a private club, it's a membership. So what I started doing in order to open, I owned the space as a renter. I was the person in charge of the space. So anytime somebody would want to come in and get pictures of IDs, I'd make them a member. You pay $5 for your membership. It lasts for today only. When the calendar says tomorrow, we close at midnight. So when the calendar closes,
That's
everything's
amazing.
over. And I said, this is how we're going to run.
Yeah.
So I never sold alcohol, I sold cups. So I had alcohol there, all the alcohol you could drink.
Yeah.
I had a friend who would definitely make sure my kegs were full. But I only had Natty Ice, whatever. It's beer. It's got alcohol in it. I had wine. I had bottom of the barrel wine before Trader Joe's $2 chuck. I was trying to find the $4 bottles of wine, but I always had wine. Always had popcorn. Always had chips. Always had something to drink. If you wanted to buy chips and drink, all the kind of stuff. And I had a little thing where you could do an $8 combo for a beer unlimited or a wine glass and whatever and whatever you wanted from popcorn to chips or whatever and a piece and candy. And I was
crazy.
I was okay.
Yeah.
I was making $800, $900 a night and paying the people that were like, here's $50. Thanks for rolling me for 3 hours. You didn't have to be here all night.
Yeah.
It was like you come in at 8:00, get started, and by 11:30 we're cleaning up, doing everything we need to do. But I had poets, I had Davis come play a show one time,
Nice.
had a couple of rock concerts, and built stage, and the guy wants to tell me that the stage has to be torn up because he can't see it. He can't see the plan. And I'm like, here's the plans. Here's how they look. Well, I can't see that from under there. I don't know you stuck to those plans. It's like, I see what you're saying, but here's the plans, and here's why I built it like this. That's why if you step on it, it's pretty solid. It's not going anywhere. So So leave me alone about it.
Yeah.
But he wanted me. I carpeted it. I glued the carpet down, done everything, stapled everything in. It was really nice. It actually worked out. But he wanted me to pull it up because he couldn't see it. He couldn't see it as it was being put in. So
Good Lord.
it was terrible. So I'm when I had to shut down, I was like, I can't keep doing. It was just nerve wracking.
Yeah.
Even though I was operating loopholes and all that kind of stuff. That was where the Bijou was, and there would be a cop car sitting out there trying to direct traffic. I'm just like, I'm gonna get caught.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get caught. I don't have a license to operate a business. I'm so gonna get caught. It's terrifying me. So I just shut it down. But it was just
it was all one big learning experience.
it was.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it to this day. But it was just
Yeah.
it was just it was really. I was in a really dark place when I had to shut it all down because it was my hopes and dreams and all this money came out of my pocket. I funded the entire thing. I got to figure out what to do with 80 chairs now and all this industrial stuff. I honestly just went into a really dark hole.
Yeah.
And got a job doing collections.
So when you go in that dark hole, did you turn to your art?
I sure
and
did.
Do more? Okay.
Me and Lane started getting together and performing and writing a little bit more.
When did Brent start the Right Night thing?
That was around the same time.
That's what I was thinking. That I'd never written a haiku before. As the first place I ever wrote a haiku.
I actually go out and teach haikus now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, I did the Makers Summit thing. But I do that as different workshops.
Yeah.
So it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a blast to go out and do those things.
I caught the tail end of that because I was one of the experts upstairs, and they finished it right as you were halfway through, so I got to come down and see the tail end.
It was really cool.
Yeah. Some of those
I've never
people
done it
getting
with
up
that
on
many
stage,
people.
I could tell they were shaking, man.
They were.
They were shaking.
And I'm just like,
man.
go do your haiku.
Yeah.
It's 17 syllables.
Nobody's gonna
you don't have
judge you here.
Nope.
Nobody
They
can.
didn't write it. They didn't do it.
No.
That's what I've always said. It's like,
Yeah.
how can anybody judge you when it's something they're not even willing to do themselves?
So after you got out of the kind of the funk, were you trying to think of like, okay, picking yourself up and be like, all right, what's next? What
Yeah.
am I going to do?
I started me and my friend Lane, we started performing and traveling. We've been doing that since 2014.
Wow.
But it's a crazy story. We almost got selected to be on Versus and Flow on TV One.
Really?
So apparently we made it like the top 20 or top 15. They picked 10 people to be on the episode. They had 10 episodes. I know. We made it to like the top 20. But all of
Still,
our
that's
friends,
amazing.
that's what got us
Yeah.
onto the point where we were going to do it.
Yeah.
So we had made it to the point where we're like, okay, they haven't sent us a letter yet. They haven't
Yeah.
given us a call yet. And all of our friends are getting letters. Like all of our poet friends, they're like, oh, we didn't make it on Versus and Flow. Fuck you people. Like
Yeah.
Facebook
Yeah.
statuses all over the place.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we haven't gotten a call yet. This is really interesting. Then we get a email from their producer.
Yeah.
It says, hey, we like what you've done with this. There's a couple of lines in this poem that you submitted that we're a little bit weary about. We
Yeah.
talk about Paul McCartney dying, and it was like, it was just
Did
one
it
of those,
have to be a Beatle?
it was it was, and that was kind of the thing. Like it
Yeah.
was just, but I make a joke that like. You heard about his divorce settlement? Like, I bet
yeah.
he wishes he was dead.
Yeah.
And it's just a joke.
Yeah.
And then
And
they
it's
were like,
Paul is
we
dead.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it was just like, wait, you guys can't make this joke. And it was like, okay, well, we'll edit it out. No big deal. And then send them back. And then, okay, well, we went with other people. I was like, well,
Yeah.
why'd you even do that?
Yeah.
So then they sent us a letter, but we know we got to at least like the top 20
That's
or top.
amazing.
And they picked 10. So we
Yeah.
know we got that far. So we
Yeah.
were like, hey, this seems like it could be a thing. Like this was
Yeah.
around early 2014. So it was like, okay, this could be a thing. I think
What's
this.
What's
this
the
might work.
furthest place y'all have gone to perform?
Oh God, Ontario, California.
Oh wow! Oh, I got a buddy that lives in Ontario.
Dude, I
That's
like it there.
fun.
It's actually really neat.
Yeah, because it's whenever I used to do this, we would do this mix CD thing where there were like 6 of us, and we'd make a mix CD and then print out of course, I'm a designer. I'm sitting there, designing labels and all this stuff and writing little write-ups on why this song is important to me, and we would ship it to one another.
Yeah.
Some friends in Jersey, but one of them lived in Ontario, and every time I was like, Ontario, CA. This so looks like Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, it does.
Like it's
I
so
always,
weird.
That's what I thought
It's so
we
weird.
were going. I was like, we're going to Canada. That's so cool. We definitely got back from Vermont. I actually tore my ACL in Vermont, so that was fun.
Yeah, I'm watching to make sure. Wow. Okay, so
I was
you're
on a ski
performing and
mountain.
you're sticking with it.
Performing, sticking with it, rolling all the way.
Are you mentoring anybody younger towards like
Carpetbag, we have youth. We have our youth program.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm always in their ears and always trying to make sure. Keisha is our youth director.
Okay.
And she's absolutely amazing. So she stays on top of all
Okay.
of it and making sure the kids know. And she's also an actor herself. She travels
Nice.
and performs. I encourage all my staff members to have an artistic outlet.
Yeah.
So like
That's
Kiame, our
awesome.
marketing director, she's taking up photography and she
you go.
does everything there. And then Joe, he does art criticism.
Oh, nice.
So he gets flown out. Like he got flown up to Pittsburgh to
Yeah.
do something at the Mellon Museum or I don't even know. He goes and he writes
Yeah.
articles for like these huge art
That's great.
publications and does all that kind of stuff.
So one of the future podcasts I'll be doing, and she may look into this. There's 2 guys I'm friendly with that are in Columbus, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
Corey and Marshall, and they put on a Persons of Color creative conference, Creative Control Fest. Give them a shout out. And I've been talking about going up there to Columbus and interviewing them for this because in graphic design, only 3% of graphic designers are black.
Really?
And I'm going to crap on these people. The major organizing body is AIGA, which I was president of here. I'm sure this is an inappropriate thought or whatever. They keep pushing to get more women in design.
Mm-hmm.
3/4 of designers are women. I was like, hey, can we pump the brakes on that and maybe go after like persons of color?
Yeah.
Wealth inequality, poor
Yeah.
kids. Like,
Yeah.
why are we not going after? to where they're like, no, we really need women. And I was like, we have women in design.
It's-
My entire board, I curate it to be all women because that's what the predominant thing is. I was like, no, this is, we're there.
Yeah.
Let's move on to, and they're like, no, we're not. We've got one person. There's a woman in St. Louis who's amazing, who keeps trying to push within the organization to do more and more. Because when Michael Brown died, she is a designer in St. Louis and was really organizing a lot about him. So I'm gonna go interview Marshall and Corey and be like, what can people do to help? Like, I got a friend Jamal in Cleveland that he grew up in the roughest part of Cleveland you could, got the hell out, now owns his own business and goes and teaches design at Boys and Girls Club.
Huh.
And his name is Jamal Collins, which cracks me up because I walked up to this conference and I walked up and there was the woman who put it on who knew me, Heather, and this younger person volunteer. And she's like, what's your last name? I was like, Collins. She looked up at me and she said, Jamal? And Heather kind of looked at her
Yes,
like,
that is
and I
big.
looked at her, I was like, no, that's my brother. Like that. And Heather looked up at me and started shaking her head and she went, is he really his brother? And Heather said, no, he's 6'4", 6'5", and he was like, no, Jamal is black and Jody is not. And I was like, no, he's my, damn it.
He's my brother.
So as I walked out, he was walking in. I was like, dude, please tell him that you're, and he was like, I'm going to do it. He was so excited. He
I
was
love
like,
people that play along.
yeah, he was like, this is amazing. He was like, yeah, Jody's my, look at us.
Don't you see the family
Yeah,
resemblance?
yeah, and we're both big guys, like, yeah. But they do that in, I think, September. So she might look into that because it's great.
That's cool.
They bring people from all over. I keep joking. I was like, can I just come? They're like, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
you got to pass. You can come. I was like, because I still teach kids and go to schools around here, go back up to Fulton, and like, you can make money in art.
Yeah.
You don't have to work at God Love at Denso.
Yeah.
You can make money in art.
And if you've got a brain that that makes all of this really boring to you, you probably have a brain that's really artistic. That's what that's really what we try to instill in our kids.
Yeah.
Like, you can do this.
Yeah.
And getting them lessons from professionals.
Yeah. Yeah, I would, when I taught classes to middle school and middle school and high school kids, they would do work throughout the week. No computers.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the week, we would build a portfolio, and then I would have professionals come in and critique their portfolios. Like, and I was so happy to do that because I was like, no, we're going to do this, and you're going to have professionals. And I told the professionals, like, don't hold back.
Yeah.
I was like, be positive and be like, this is good. Here's where you need to work on. Here's where you need improvement. I was like, but no, treat them like they're coming for a job. And I love that so much.
That's cool.
Yeah. I want to do it more, but it's so costly.
Yeah.
Trying to rent a space and do all that. Maybe sometime soon I'll do that. Anyway.
I'm with it.
Let's see. I'm trying to get you out here. I will end on this.
Okay.
Mount Rushmore. Who's on your Mount Rushmore?
Of what?
Of poets, rappers, spoken word, whatever. Writers.
So
should I have given you this before to think about
it? Maybe, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Saul Williams is really big for me, which he's gonna be here for big years.
Yeah. I saw him
maybe a little teaser.
I saw him at the Coliseum opening for Nine Inch Nails. And it was right when Trent had produced his album.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And he was amazing. Like,
I got to meet him. We brought the Knoxville Poetry Slam partnered with UT Department of English, I think.
Okay.
We brought him to Brooks. What's the border? Books
a Million?
Not Books a Million. The red one.
Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
So he was there.
Wow.
And he signed my book.
Yeah.
So that was cool. The Dead MC Scrolls.
That's awesome.
Black Thought is always there also. But the teaser about Saul Williams, Carpetbag is partnering. And I think we are working on a way to bring him to Knoxville with Big Ears and have a special event with him. So
that's awesome.
Be on the lookout. I think that's going to happen. I can't say it actually is.
Yep. Yeah.
But just in case. Maybe this will be out there and all that good stuff.
Okay. Saul Williams, Black Thought.
Saul Williams, Black Thought. Man. So Zadie Smith definitely inspired me. when I was younger, not like younger, but years ago.
Yeah.
And I really like Malcolm Gladwell too.
Okay.
So those are probably like the people I would say have inspired me a lot.
Without much preparation, those are the ones.
But if I could switch out Malcolm Gladwell and August Wilson, I would also do that.
Okay.
August Wilson, little known fact, he wrote 10 plays in his life.
Yeah.
He only lived to be 53. But he wrote 10 plays in his entire life.
Yeah.
And all 10 plays went to Broadway. And there is no playwright in the history of the universe that has ever happened.
That's great.
No one has ever done that.
Do you know who John Cazale, the actor? It's like John Cazale. Like every film he was in was nominated for Best Picture. Everything, you know.
It's like 10 out of 10. Every play he wrote went to Broadway.
That's amazing.
And won some sort of award.
Wow.
On Broadway.
He could have, if he'd have lived, he could have been like an EGOT or something.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But I got his Century series as a gift for Christmas a couple years ago. So all 10 plays I have in my house.
Okay, here's
so I'm working through
and this doesn't have to be in that realm, but is there anybody if you met them, you would freak out about meeting them?
Honestly, man, it would have been Kobe Bryant.
Really?
I've been a Laker fan my whole entire life.
So mine is Magic Johnson.
I would love to. I would absolutely freak out if I met Magic Johnson.
He bought the Dodgers.
Yep.
Where is it? It's back there. They did a bobblehead for the first game for him, and he was out front giving them away. And I was trying like hell to go, and I said, I'm going to walk up to him and be like, "Hey, man, I'm going to hug you, and I'm going to cry." And that's what's going to happen because I'm like 2 inches shorter than him. I was like, I'm sorry. Like,
it's just gonna
but I just want to, and I feel like in seeing him all my life, he would probably be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like he would totally be okay with that.
I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
Kobe was just like, like everything for me. That was a really rough day a few weeks ago. My mom called me before I knew. My mom called me and was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" "You don't read the news right now." And I was like, "I'm in the car driving." I was driving to a show in Indianapolis, and I was driving home from a show in Indianapolis. She was like, "Don't read the news right now. I don't know if everything's true." And I was like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on." And that was a rough man.
Yeah.
That was a rough day.
The one like that for me was Robin Williams.
Oh man.
Because I was getting on a plane to fly to Florida and was pulling up my phone to put in airplane mode and saw the alert and immediately texted my parents because they let me watch his specials when I was way too young and sent them a text. I was like, I think Robin Williams is dead. I'm turning my phone off to get in the plane. And so I literally sat on that flight for like 2 hours just being like, holy fuck, he's really dead. Like
that's how I felt too because I was driving and I couldn't get anything.
Got done immediately when they're like, I pulled my phone back up and started looking at. I was like, oh my god, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like it was, yeah.
For me, that was Prince did that for me too. When that happened, I was in a rough place.
I was happy that I got to see him live.
It made me regret even more the chance that I had to see him live, and I turned it down.
Oh man,
I was like 10, and I didn't want my parents thinking I liked Prince.
Yeah,
because it was all Prince. Yeah. But I absolutely loved Prince.
Oh yeah.
And my cousin at the time worked for Thompson Bowling Arena, and she had tickets. Yeah. Like she was the person who was walking Prince around backstage. Like that's what she was doing. And she was like, "Do you want tickets?" And I was like, no, I'm okay.
Oh
and
man. I took my little sister who was like 12 to that show. And when we left, I was like, you don't understand what you just saw. It will dawn on you in like 10 years what you just saw. Yeah. All right, I gotta get you out of here.
Yeah, I really.
All right. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, man. This was awesome.